it's crazy, baby, bro. Like I watched Married with Children. In my mind, I still see it like, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Like it's caught up with the times. I mean, just like the footage and the picture of it. It's the best taco. I think you said you had a fish taco, shrimp taco. I forgot you had like 3 tacos.
Yeah, I had 3 little tacos. It was two.
What's up, familia? Welcome inside the pad. Hope you guys doing good. Keep it between the lines. Got your load secure. All right, man. So let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about the crime life, living the crime life, and getting into trucking. I know a little bit about that. And what's crazy is I do run into a couple of camaradas, man, that went down that route, and it is possible, man, to really do some good freedom things, man. I want to bring in my boy Fonzie up in here. I'm curious to find out this guy's story, man. I don't even know it. We're gonna find out together. I was getting little bits and pieces of it just a little while ago, but let's go ahead and get the whole enchilada, as they say, man. Let's bring in OG trucker Fonzie. What's up, homie?
Hey, what's cracking, homie?
How you doing, big dog?
Oh, just trying to live.
Yeah, living on the road, I see, man. You in your rig right now?
Yeah, Simone, man, right here. I think I'm gonna call it a night right here in Los Hills, California.
Los Hills, California. Not a lot of people know where that's at, man.
Nah, man. What? 45 minutes before Fresno?
Yeah, about,
Yeah.
man. I went live one time just because I was bored. I went live and I was in that Motel 6, man, which is like the only Momo there, dog. And chatless, homie. Hey, what's up, Strange Days? Andres, Lord Spike. What's going on? What's going on, man? So, Fonzie,
Yes, Simone.
big dog, let's get into to your story a little bit, Holmes. Before anything, man, I know you're on the road, you're trucking and all that, but before all that stuff, man, where'd you grow up? Parents, what was life for you like growing up? Siblings, all that good stuff, eh?
Oh, man, to get started, I was born and raised in Torrance, California. I was born right there at the Harbor UCLA Medical Center.
Mm-hmm.
And parents, my jefa was always there, man. Working 2 jobs. At that time, I got 2 brothers. So I'm the oldest out of 3. So the one in the middle, I'm 4 years older than him. The younger one, I'm 13 years older than him. So that was what you call it, a oops baby.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So like I said, my jefe, he worked, but he worked for himself. He didn't work for us. Mm-hmm. So at a pretty young age, man, I learned how to cook. Believe it or not, man, I can make some enchiladas. I can make some sopes. Some huaraches. I could cook. So me and my carnal, my jefa would leave us in the pad. Sometimes we couldn't find anything, so we'll go to we lived in apartments, and we lived actually right behind gas station. So we used to go knock on the neighbor's door, like, hey man, you got flour? Can we borrow some flour? Can we borrow some Chile, California? Brother, just hey, we ain't gonna starve. So we cooked and everything. Other than that, man, I went to Myler Street Elementary. After that, went to Fleming Junior High. Then after that, went to Narbonne High School. Got kicked out of Narbonne High School around the 10th grade. And that was basically it, man. Never went back to school. And basically, I mean, I had a home, believe it or not. I had a home, but, I chose to be on the streets. And,
your jefito, man.
Yeah.
You said he worked for himself. Did you guys all live together?
Damn, I'm gonna get a lot of hate, but the people that lived together was me, my brother, my two brothers, and my jefa. My jefe
Okay.
would just go to work, come home, shower, and take off to the bars. So
Okay.
I don't know if
Okay.
I don't know if you ever seen the movies. They're old school movies with Alfonso Sayas, like Los Verduleros and stuff like that.
No, probably not. Maybe I did as a kid, man. I probably don't
Yeah.
remember the names though.
All right. So he was that type. Just go to the pad, shower, take off to the cantinas, drink everything. When he ran out of feria, come home, and and that was it. Sleep, go to work, do the same thing the next day. So but yeah, we lived together. But he really wasn't much of a, what do you call it, like a guy. He didn't guide us. He
Right.
was just there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And your relationship with your mom, was it good? Was it bad? Or was it just like, hey, she's working, she's doing her thing? Like I got like myself, like I got a good relationship with my mom. I love my mom to death, but as a little kid, she had to work two jobs.
Yeah.
It's not like we really truly really really connected, love her to death and everything. She wasn't doing anything wrong. She was working.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'll agree with you, man. I mean, yeah, she was working, day, night. We will spend the time, we'll spend weekends together. And
Mm,
she never drove. My jefa, she never liked cars. So we walked everywhere. So we used
mm,
to walk to church, walk to do the laundry, walk to the supermarket to get to, buy food. And other than that, I mean, she was loving. But, uno de morro, you want that. You want that mom attention.
right.
But I just believe that that we don't get it, we grow up too fast. So by the
Mm,
age of 11, I was already trying to do something that, a guy at 18 years old was doing.
mm.
So you got to pump your brakes. You kind of, you move too fast. But, to this day, I mean, we got a good relationship. We talk, not as often, but we talk. My jefe, he passed away in '03.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's no longer with us. So, yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, man. Torrance, California, the HA, man. I know for those that are not from Cali, you think about the beach, you think about it's nice and
Yeah.
boogie boarding and surfboards and everything. And that stuff does exist, man. But
Oh,
you
yeah.
get parts of the harbor area, man, that's where the ghetto meets the sea, Holmes. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you gotta watch where you step around over there. But so growing up in Torrance, man, I mean, what era was this? The 80s, the 90s, 2000s? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, no, well, I was born in '81. So,
Yeah.
yeah, 80s, brought up in the '80s, seen the scene in the '90s to the mid to, nah, you know what? I left Torrance in '03,
Okay.
as but before that, you know, yeah, that's when it was rocking and rolling, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hey, I'll be honest, man, back then
uh,
is a trip. You could still walk in the streets
mhm,
and not be paranoid that per se. It's gonna sound
mhm,
cliche, but you're in your hood, so you walk down the street and you ain't paranoid. Nowadays you
mhm,
walk down the street and you're like, oh damn. It's like, what happened?
mhm, mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
man, that was the eras, 80s, 90s. I left in '03.
Okay. So you didn't graduate high school?
Nah.
All right. All right. And when did you start getting into trouble? I mean, like real trouble. I don't mean like,
'17.
taking Jolly Ranchers or anything from the liquor store. I mean, like getting into like some real trouble, man.
17. It was actually, and I remember it was August, late August. I was born September 7th.
Mm,
So I have a crime me. Me and this guy, we grew up since we were 4 years old, before kindergarten. So, and he's from September also. So what we did, it was August like 30th or something. So, it was a 211, got caught the same night. So what they did to me was they lost the paperwork supposedly, shot me to county, and the paperwork magically appeared September 7th.
mm,
So when I turned 18, they said, "Here's your blues. Go up to I believe back then it was 1999.
Uh-huh.
They shot me to 2400, 24, yeah, 2400.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but before
All right.
2400, they shot me and a homie from Wimas and a homie from Pedro.
Uh,
Man, crooked dudes. They threw us in 2700. Back then,
okay.
2700, one roll was TRGs. And that was
Oh
back then.
man. Yeah, 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 yeah. For those that
Hey,
don't know, man,
yeah,
that's the Asians, man, and it's a
that was
whole
the whole
different
ball game
vibe
back
once you,
then.
yeah, yeah, when you
Yeah,
enter county, man.
and
Wow, dog.
yep,
So
and yeah, they threw us in the laundromat. Three of us.
uh-huh.
Out of nowhere, six of them fools walk in, and that was it. And that was the way for them to make sure that
Mm,
they had something on me. Because other
okay.
than that, the 211, it was we're gonna, back then, mistaken identity,
Mm.
But after that, I took a plea deal. I took a 5-year joint suspension, took a strike, and they gave me and my crime partner, they gave us a year.
Yeah. I got my strike for robbery as well. I think this was in 99, 2000, 2000 or 99, one of those two. I don't even really remember, man. I think it was 2000. It
Yeah,
was so packed in there, Holmes. It was
yeah,
so jam packed. There was no. I'm talking about the men's central jail. There was no
yeah,
day rooms. They had cleared out the day rooms and pushed in a gang of bunks and just everybody get in there, man.
yeah.
The kitchen, dog. The kitchen. There was no chow hall, Holmes. They just pushed in a gang of bunks in there, and there it
Yeah.
is, man. Everybody just like one big day room. Everybody just be in there, man. There was no room anywhere, man. It was definitely a different time, dog. I mean, it was
Yeah, it
on
was.
and popping, man, every single day. There wasn't not one day that passed, Fonzie, not one day, homie, that passed that nothing didn't go on in there. There was
No,
always some type of pleito somewhere every single day in that facility.
yeah,
It was
man.
a crazy time, man.
Yeah, you had to sleep with your shoes on.
Yeah, yeah, it was a crazy time, and I don't
Yeah.
think people when I told them like it's it's probably different now, but it was dirty back then, Holmes. It was filthy, dog. You had cucarachas, you
Hey,
had
remember? Did you ever hear about Freeway Freddy?
no, who's Freeway Freddy?
The long rat.
Oh, I'm sure there was a few of them, man. You had to hang your store up. You couldn't leave it
Yeah.
on the ground, man. That
Hey,
it
and
was filthy,
the
man.
homies will put a pack of peanut butter at the end of a string, and catch that fool, tie a rope around them, and send them down the T. Hey man, oh man,
It was disgusting, man. You didn't shower every day. Um I mean the living conditions were
yeah,
terrible, man. I don't know if it's different today or not. I remember quite a few years there was all those protests out there and stuff like that, but at least the time that you and I were in there, the walls were all sticky. You didn't know if it was day or night. You didn't shower
exactly.
every day. There was cucarachas, rats, just all over the place. You had to hang your food up, man. If not, the
Yeah,
rats will get to it. Like it was nasty living, man. But so you get your strike, so you get out, man. When do you start thinking about like, hey, man, you know what? Maybe I should get into trucking, or does anybody in your family in trucking? Did trucking ever come to your mind at all?
you know what? Honestly, it didn't. I was
Okay.
too uh, I was too busy trying to grind the wrong way. So,
Mm,
but my padrino, rest in peace, he was a truck driver.
mm,
So, around the age of 13, 15, he would take me. He actually had I forgot the year, but it was a cab over, Peterbilt cab over,
okay. Okay.
and he had a 18 speed.
Mm.
So he's the one that actually taught me how to float the gears before anything.
Mm.
So I don't want to toot my own horn, but for
Mm.
some reason, you could throw me behind the wheel of anything, with or without wheels, and I'm gonna find a way to drive it without messing up the transmission or blowing up the engine.
Mm.
I have no idea how, and you know, that's basically was my introduction to what a big rig was. But I never really asked them questions about it, like, hey, you make money or is this and that. Nah, I think I would just go because it was an escape from the neighborhood. I saw different things. He wasn't really over the road. He was mostly he worked at a warehouse out in Carson, California, and then
Okay.
from there he'll shoot out to Fontana, Ontario, Laverne, and South Central. So his thing was see, and now that I'm in trucking, I know what he did now because I didn't know back then. I never asked him. So he
Mm.
was power only. So the warehouse where he worked at, he would just grab a trailer, take it to
Mm.
where it needed to be, bring it back, grab another one, take it, and so on and so on. So at the age of 15, he actually took me to New Jersey. Believe it or not, man.
Oh,
Hey, I hope DOT
okay.
don't watch your channel. But at 16 years old, man, I remember just taking off, jumping on the 10, and then I don't know what he did. We ended up on the 80, no, the
Mm.
40, and he's all like, "Okay, look, float like this." All he wanted me to do to get that sucker in motion. After that, I don't know who he thought he was or who he thought I was. He
Mm.
jumped in the bunk, literally went to sleep. I drove for like
Oh,
3 hours. 3
damn.
hours just smashing. And this is what I don't like about Cali. We could only do 55.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Homie, you as soon as you hit Arizona, 75.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Up there, you got states where you could go 80, 85.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I boned out and still it never clicked in my head. You know what? I like this.
Mm.
But nah, man, after I got out, I got out in 2000, late 2000, and then just started going back, dude. I came out, I was out 3 days, went back in, came back out. I was out one day, went back in, and up to
It,
the
it was this just violations while you're going back in, or were you committing whole new crimes?
nah, man. It was just there was back then. We have I'm pretty sure it's Harbor Division out in Wilmington. That's
Okay.
the substation for LAPD.
Mm.
There was one PD officer right there. Can I say her name or not?
Whatever you want, dog. Whatever.
Look, her name is Officer Snail. Everybody knew her, from Wilmington to Pedro to Torrance to Gardena. For some reason, the last time I got arrested was late 2002. Even the judge looked at me and he read the report. He saw her name on that report again. He
Mm.
opened the file. That's all he saw. Her name, her name, her name. He looked at me dead in my face and said, "Damn, Torres, dude, what has this officer got for you? Does she got the hots for you or what?
Mm.
Or anything, dude, anything, anything. I crossed the street wrong. I looked at her, anything. She just put me back in." And I'm just like,
Mm.
all right, man, whatever. But that was the last time, late 2002. And then in '03, you know, my back then, we were, boyfriend and girlfriend, but my wifey now, she said, "Nah, homie, we're leaving."
Mm.
So we left Torrance in '03, like May, April, somewhere around there, I think.
Okay. All right. Let me see. You can chill at 55. That's the law, unless you're on a. Well, okay. So here's the thing. What Fonzie's saying is that so it was power only. Power only means you are an owner operator, but you don't own any trailer. So you pull the trailer for other companies, just the truck. is yours. And the whole 55 mile per hour thing, that's to the best of my knowledge, that's only in the state of California. I believe it's only California that has two speed limits, one for semi trucks and one for regular vehicles. But once you get out of California, there's only one speed limit, and everybody can go that speed limit. So yeah, man. Hey, let's talk about your carnales, man. Were they following in your footsteps, homie? Were they, running around in the calles? And who influenced you, dog, to go down that route?
I mean, just the neighborhood, man. Just seeing it, just
Yeah.
watching them. I have two older cousins that are from the neighborhood too.
Okay.
But yeah, my younger brother, both of them, the same thing. They
Okay.
got in, and that's basically it.
What was your relationship with your carnales growing up, man? I mean, you said your younger one, you guys have a big there's a big gap right there between your guys' age, man.
Yeah, well, the one in the middle, me and him got a good relationship because we grew up together. I babysit
Okay.
him when my half I used to go to work and everything like that. So we grew up close. We slept in the same room. We walked together to school and everything. The younger one, you know, he was growing up when I left. So I
Okay.
left and I wasn't really in his life like that.
Mhm.
So that's it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, big dog, you move. What's up, man? You're still into trouble, man. You're looking to get into trucking. Take us through that, Holmes.
Well, first, wifey, me and her go apartment hunting.
Hmm.
So we end up in Van Nuys, California, some
Okay.
apartment building right there. So we only lasted there about a month. Then after that, we moved back where she was from, Hollywood. So we
Hmm.
stayed there for about 2 years. You know, so we already had a daughter when we were in Van Nuys and then Hollywood. Then she got pregnant, my second one, and then got pregnant again 9 months after that with my third one. So then that's when it was a two-bedroom apartment. So we both agreed, like, you know what, we can't have our kids in this tight little space. So we just started looking for a house. This was in '05, no, yeah, no, '04, and we left Hollywood and found a house in Lancaster.
Okay. And if anybody's not from the area, man, so Van Nuys is up in the San Fernando Valle. And if you guys think Hollywood is like all the stars and everything like that, man, Hollywood can be very, very treacherous, man. So,
Uh, yes, it can.
if you're not from the area, Hollywood can be very, very treacherous. A lot of landmines there, man, streetwise. Okay, so then you go up to the AV, Lancaster, man, which even up there, dog, you ask for trouble, you can definitely get it. So,
Oh,
all
yeah.
right, so you move up there, and what's going on next in your life, man? You got what, three kids at this time?
Yeah, three kids, three girls.
And what are you doing for work at this time?
I know a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But
Okay.
when we moved up to Lancaster, my wife, has a brother. He used to work security guard. So I kind of fell in with him, did the security guard thing. Um, but I don't know, it was boring. But
Hmm.
actually, when we lived in Hollywood, my wife's padrino also is a truck driver. So when I met him, he started telling me more about it. So then that's when I just started getting interested in the subject. Um, he actually gave me the phone number of where he got his license, which was in Arleta, right there in the San Fernando Valley, also right next door
Hmm.
to I believe what, Sun Valley.
Okay.
So I didn't pay too much attention to it. So I called the guy, and this was in '03. So I actually got my license in a week, and that dude only charged me $900 to get my license.
Uh, All
Yeah,
right, man.
you know,
Without naming the school, dog, did they teach you really good, or did they just teach you just so you could get your license?
nah, man. They just taught me how to get my license. But
Yeah.
you know what? Actually, he was pretty cool
Uh-huh.
because you could show up and you could practice as long as you want. It's not like the schools nowadays, that you get certain
Okay.
hours. No, back
Mm.
then he told me, you know what, just come. When I showed up to his place and I told him I'm interested in getting my CDL, first thing he said, jump in the truck, let's go for a drive. I drove it, got on the
Mm.
170, exited, came back, and he looked at me, said, "Man, I'll get you ready in a week." And sure enough, he got me ready in a week.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So you get your CDL out of school. I mean, what's the next move, man? A lot of places want 2 years experience. It could be a little
yeah,
bit tough, man, getting a gig, or at least a good one, I should say.
yeah, yeah. No, actually, I got my CDL when we lived in Hollywood. We came up to Lancaster. I just held my license and my wallet
Okay.
until I got into working with my brother-in-law.
Mhm.
While I was working with my brother-in-law, um, it was a straight truck, and you'll probably see them. Excuse me. You've probably seen them. It's a straight truck where they bring those 3 yard dumpsters and they replace them in case
Mm.
one is broken or something. So he pulled up,
Mm.
and I asked him. I said, "Hey man, are there hot? Is this all you guys got in your company?" And he told me, "No man, we do front loaders and roll offs." So he said, "Go apply. Give him my name so I could get a bonus." I said, "All right, cool. I ain't tripping." So yeah, and this company, it closed down already.
Mm.
It was in Pacoima. So yeah, I show up, I fill out the application. They didn't really, I mean, they asked me for experience, and I told them, I said, look, man, I move trucks here and there. I don't have experience. So he said, like, but do you know how to drive? He said, yeah. I told him, yeah. Right then and there, they said, can you pass a drug test? I said, I sure can. Sent me to a drug test, came back, gave them the drug results, and they said, okay, you start tomorrow. I'm like, damn, like that?
Mhm.
So yeah, man, that's where my trucking career started, and I never looked back.
Yeah, there's a lot of things out there about like, hey, they want 2 years experience, 2 years experience. But you know what? There's a lot of not all the time, but a lot of small town, or small town, no, more small businesses
Yeah,
that are just, I don't want to say, I don't want to use the word shady, but they just really don't care. But at the same time, you kind of got to watch their equipment a little bit. I remember fumbling around in a couple businesses here and there, and it's like, hey man, you got an air leak on the truck. It's like, oh, here's some electrical tape. And it's like, oh, all right. But I'm
yeah,
trying to give
yeah,
I'm trying to give my experience on me, and it's just
yeah,
like, oh, everybody else does it. So it's like, oh, okay. But once you get to like some big businesses or something, it's
yeah.
probably a little bit different, man. But okay, so you get a job, you get a holiday just like that, man. Okay. And how's so are you in Lancaster at this time and you're driving down to Pacoima for work?
Yeah, yeah,
Damn, that's a
yeah.
drive, dog.
It's yeah, it was about an hour drive and everything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and run us through it, man. What's going on? What's the next step, man? Are you looking to make a career? Are you like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do from here on now? Or are you like, man, damn this job, man, I want to do this.
Now you know what? That company, it was a good company, man. It was a bunch of youngsters. There were some older
Mm.
cats, but I met a lot of good people there, man. I met a lot of good people there. Some were a little older than me, some were a little younger than me, but it was fun. It was fun. When I my first day, the trainer that I got, you know what? I always give them thanks because some companies are really strict.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing he asked me if I knew how to drive, and I told him, I said, look, man, I haven't driven in a while, but I kind of get the idea how to float. So he was with it. He said, all right, you know what? We went to a street. He explained to me and everything, taught me how to float perfectly. and it was cool, man. But still, we're hauling roll-offs. It's not only residual trash, not only construction trash, but you're hauling cement. So you got these little low boy trash bins that are weighing up to 18 tons. And that company was in Pacoima, so we did a lot of deliveries around the valley, San Fernando Valley, a lot of downtown LA. So if you're familiar with the street Highland that goes into the 101, you don't even want to know how many that damn truck turned off on me. Man, it was hectic. And let me tell you, man, I mean, and they were internationals back then. The whole company, all they had was internationals.
International, okay.
Yeah, there were 9 speeds.
Okay. That's the first truck. That's the first truck that I drove was a cab over international. Hauling dirt, hauling bottom dumps, man. And if you start going uphill, especially loaded, that's where I would see trucks jump, Holmes, right? They'd be going up and then they slow down. And then the boom, 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 because they're trying to get it going, dog. And it's
man.
Damn, that's hard on the machines. I mean, trucks are changing so much, man. Things are gonna be way different now. But okay, so you're doing that. Lord Spike, I have a question. Are you both Teamsters? I've never been part of a union.
Nah, me either. Don't believe in them.
Yeah, I've never been part of a union, man. All right. So then where do you go from there, dog? Because you still got in trouble afterwards. So how long were you trucking? How long were you trucking with this company? What was your next move after that? And then when did you get in trouble again?
Well, I trucked for that company. I started in late 03, early 04, and they got bought out by Waste Management in 08. So
yeah.
At that time, I had 2 points on my license, and Waste Management, I guess the agreement was that they were going to hire us on. They did. They kept the word. They did, but they couldn't keep me on because of my 2 points. So I ended up jobless.
Let's get to the juicy part right there, dog. Let's talk about those 2 points, homie. How'd you get those 2 points, man? I don't know if anybody knows, but if you have a license, it's on a point system. It's not just truckers. If you got regular Class C, same thing right there too, man. I know whenever people hear points, they probably just think about Class A drivers. Oh no, it's for just your license completely. But let's talk about those 2 points, big dog. How'd you get them?
Well, one, it was in the semi, exiting Highland. So it was like 5 a.m. or something. We used to try to get an early start to beat the traffic and get the first box to the dump. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'll be straight up, man. I didn't lose control of the truck, but I lost the gear, so I couldn't put it back in the gear, and I was always afraid of pumping the brakes too much that they will heat up and I will lose brakes.
Yes.
So, dude, I don't want to say I froze, but I panicked. So I'm like, dude, the heck with it then. So I just let it ride, and I'm trying to stab the brakes, slowly but surely. But nah, dude, cop came around. He said, damn, you know how fast you were going? I said, no, I didn't. I didn't want to tell the cop like, oh man, I lost control of the truck. Nah, I said, I'm like, yeah, you know what, man? I'm late for a pickup. That was it. That was 1 point. The second point happened on the 14 freeway, and I got the I don't know if I got the wrong information, but from what I understood back then, I thought the sheriffs couldn't pull you over on the freeway, only highway patrol. So I'm driving, and the sheriff is next to me, and he's driving fast, and I'm driving fast. I said, dude, let me go over. But in my head, I'm thinking, okay, you can't do nothing. I'm not on the street. I'm on the freeway. Hey, that's wrong.
Oh, man.
Pull over.
You know what? I've heard that before too. I heard that the sheriffs can't pull you over. But again, dog, things, somebody says something and information everyone just starts spreading. It definitely is false, homie.
Yeah, exactly.
You got
I found out. Oh man.
You know what? Check this out, man. I got caught speeding coming down the Cajon Pass, right?
Ooh,
And
yeah,
I was all like, "Damn, man, goes against my driving record." He's like,
yeah,
"Yeah." Luckily, homie, luckily at that time, I think this was the last year. I believe it was the final year that if you had a class A, you could go to driving school.
yeah.
So luckily, I was able to go to driving school, and
Oh, yeah.
bam, they got rid of it. For those who don't know, if you have a Class A license, you cannot attend driving school to get your record cleaned out. That's only if you got just a regular Class C. But once upon a time, you were able to, and I think that was the final year that they did that. But man, luckily for me, man. So all right, so now you're rocking and rolling with a dirty license, dog, trying to get a holly.
Yeah,
What
trying to
what's
get a
that
Harley.
like, man? What's that like? How hard is that, man?
It was, man. It was hard. I'm telling you, I couldn't get a Harley, and then I met a owner of a towing company. He gave me a shot in that, but you know what? It wasn't for me. You had too much interaction with the highway patrol and the cops. I'm like, ah. I'm like, it's like, I mean, you ain't doing nothing wrong, but still, it's like,
Right.
oh man, dude, I still gotta take orders from you, man. I'm already out,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So, and then I applied for another roll-off company in Pacoima, and I
Mhm.
actually got hired on. So I was
Okay.
supposed to start on a Monday, but that weekend, that's when the misunderstanding happened, and I took that unwanted vacation.
All right. That's if you don't want to go into detail, that's cool, dog. But if you could just talk to us a little bit, man. Was this another felony?
It was. Well, remember in the beginning, I told you I signed a 5 year suspension, a
Mm,
joint suspension, and I'm thinking this happened in '08, October '08.
mm,
So when I got caught up, and I went to the lawyer, the public pretender comes talks to you. He's
mm,
all like, "Hey man, they're trying to give you 22 years," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Look, man, explain that to me because I'm not understanding." So he brought back the 5 year joint suspension. So then he said that the crime alone was 6 years. So that added up to 11. Then they wanted to strike it. And then since I had a strike, they were going to double it up to 22. And I'm like, nah, man. I
yeah.
said, you know what? You could grab your little briefcase, dude, go back and send me to county. Nah, we're coming back. We ain't taking that.
Mm,
So,
yeah. Yeah, that's
yeah.
one thing that I learned, man. When I got my strike, was all like, "Hey, you know what? If you get popped again, man, the sentence gets doubled because you got
Yeah,
your
it does.
strike." So, all right.
It does.
So, talk to us a little bit about that, man. You send them on their way. You came back. How'd you
So,
talk that down?
you know, a lot of us, in the calles, we don't want to take, responsibility. I'm not that type. It is what it
Mm,
is. I got caught. I got
mm,
caught.
mm,
They were charging me with where criminal threats trip out. I didn't know this till then. They were charging me with criminal threats, which is a strikeable offense. That's why they wanted to give me the 11, doubled up 22 plus a strike. So I told him, I said, look, man, I'm not taking that. I'm not gonna admit. I'm not gonna plead. Go back, drop it down. I don't know. Give me an assault with a deadly weapon or something. That,
mm.
believe it or not, criminal threats is a strike, and assault with a deadly weapon is not. I don't know who brought that up. So
Yeah.
he came back and said, all right, look, they'll give you 2 years, but they want to give you the strike. I said, damn, come on, man. Look, man, just double the 2 years. Keep the strike. I don't want it. And
Mm.
they're like, oh, it's not up to you, So
Right.
he came back and said, all right, you know what? They're not going to strike you. They're going to use your strike. They're going to double it up. So it's 4 years, and you're going to be charged with assault with a deadly weapon. I said, all right, man. Well, it is what it is. Signed the paper and went on my merry way.
And at this point, you've been driving for how long?
I was already driving for 5 years.
Driving for 5 years, man. Did you think like things were starting to get a little bit better? It's like, okay, you got your three kids, your wife, you guys are up in the Antelope Valley, man. Were you starting to get some traction? Like, hey, you know what? We got some momentum going right here.
Yeah, I really did, man. I mean, I think the downfall was I don't want to put play the blaming game, but the downfall
Mm,
was that Waste Management bought out the company I was working for because they were cool.
mm,
I don't want to say they were cool, but they were okay with me having 2 points on my license. They still kept me on. They
mm.
just told me relax, and just get them clean, cool. But after I got let go, it was just hard, man. I would go to companies. They saw the 2 points and they were like, "Nah, man, sorry, we
Yeah,
can't help you." So
yeah.
yeah, man, we were cool. We got our home, our kids, my daughters had their own place to, their own rooms, their own yard, and I fumbled the ball.
Yeah. So how much time did you do on this one?
Well, they gave me 4 years with 80%. So before I left the court, I asked the court, since it was an abiding offense, I asked them if they could endorse me to fire camp.
Mm,
So the judge, he agreed, put it in the file. But yeah, I served 38 years, and I ended up, doing 38 months. Sorry, 38 months out of the
okay.
4 years.
Okay. All right, man. And that time in there, dog. I mean, damn, that had to be rough for your kids, for their wife, man. Did they stay where they were at, or did they have to make adjustments on the outside and say, like, man, we got to downgrade now. We got to go to a little apartment or move in with somebody or anything like that?
Um, you're gonna have to look at your comments on me because they're gonna say I'm brown nosy. But you know what? I'll be straight up, man. I'll keep it 100. My
Mm,
wife, we've been married. Next year will be 20 years. We've been together for
okay.
24 years.
Mm,
She's a very, very, very strong woman. She literally worked night and day just to keep that house. But on my end, I try to do a little here, a little there, and I would shoot her some feria from in there. Back
mm,
then it was like, hey, Western Union, hey, go to the liquor store, check these numbers
yeah.
are good. She'll be like, yep, they're good. All right, keep it. I don't want it. And just I really didn't ask for anything. I mean, I'll give it. I give her thanks. She shot me my first package, and just to get settled in. So after that, I don't know, man. I knew she had my girls, so I couldn't really bring myself to bother her for anything. And
Right.
you know what? I ended up doing my first year in Ironwood, and we lived in
Mm,
Lancaster. It's about a 3 hour and a half ride.
yeah. Yeah.
Without me knowing, she showed up as soon as I was eligible for visits. She
Okay.
brought she brought herself, my daughters, and I'm just like, damn, dude, like I gotta get out. I
Mm,
I don't want it to sound bad, but that made it a little harder. Just knowing that I had a down ass woman next to me,
mm,
So and you know what? As all the props go to her. She kept that pad. She did not lose it. She worked day, night, whatever she had to do. She kept the house.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely something to shine some light on, man. Because damn, dog, when somebody gets busted, it's like you get busted, dog. But if you were in partnership with somebody on the outside, man, it's like, okay, well, now what does this person do? And the hardships that they go through. But man, hey, saludos to her, homie. So, hey, big dog. So then you're okay. So let's fast forward a little bit. Now you're about to get out, or not you getting out, but you're about to get out. Okay, you're looking at you're looking at your time. You're like, okay, man, I'm about to get out. Like, is there any plans going on in your head, or you like, okay, man, I got to do A, B, and C, or you just looking forward to getting out?
Nah, man. I mean, my wife is my witness. I
Mm,
got out January 20th, 2012, and I told her I would always tell her, and I'll tell the homies in there too. Give me a month, I'm gonna get a jale within a month of me getting out. That's all I was worried about, getting a jale, and of course, to be with my family. But I
mm.
just knew, I needed to help. So that was my mentality, and that was all I thought about, just getting a jale as soon as I got out.
Was trucking number one on your list, or just
Yeah,
anything?
not trucking.
Okay.
Because remember, I got locked up. I had 2 points. So
Mhm.
what prison did, it cleaned my license. I was cool.
All right. Yeah.
You
Hey,
know?
that's for sure, Doug.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Hey, man, there you go, Doug. Right. Count the blessings, man. Whatever negative comes, count the blessing that comes with it and use that, Holmes. Right.
yeah.
All right. So you get out, dog, because I see you're an owner operator, homie. You're doing some big things for yourself, man, for the family, Holmes. So
Yeah.
um so how do you what's your first movie that, dog? Okay, boom, you're out, you reunite with your family, man, and dad's here, husband's here. All right, cool. Now, how does Fonzie get on track? What's the first movie that Fonzie does, man, to okay, let me get behind the wheel of a rig and start doing this?
Well, I got out. I got out actually on a Friday.
Okay.
Seen the parole officer, whatever. Spent the weekend with the family. Monday came. I didn't have no car, no nothing. I used my wife's car. Shot out, dude. I shot out. Started putting in applications, and then, but my mistake was that I was going back to Pacoima because that's where
Mm,
I considered it a little hub for
mm,
like small company truckings. You know,
mm,
so I started applying. Wouldn't get a call. Next thing you know, I find this company out in Rosamond, California, which is about 20 minutes north of Lancaster.
mm,
I go there, I put in the application. The receptionist sees that I have experience in roll-offs. She takes me into the supervisor's office, and the supervisor asks, he's asking me, okay, how do I know you know how to drive roll-offs? Give me the keys, I'll go drive it. He said, no. What do you do? All right, you pull up, you lift, turn on your PTO, lift the hoist, pull the cable, hook it up to the box, roll the box up. He said, okay, cool. He said, I'll give you a call. And I didn't think he was going to call. But before I got home, he gave me a call. And he said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go with you. Come back tomorrow. You're going to go do a drug test and we'll start. So he did ask, hey, what did you do from '08 to 2012? Oh, I worked with my padrino. He paid me under the table. I was hauling long hauls. I'm like,
okay.
go ahead, call her.
Uh,
He ain't gonna answer. But yeah, man. And believe it or not, that holler right there paid $12 an hour.
all right. What year was this?
2012.
2012. Okay. Okay.
You know,
Okay. Yeah. I remember trucking. I forgot what year I was hauling. I'll even put the company out there. California Cascade. They haul lumber for flatbeds. They're paying $10 an hour. I forgot what year this was, but they just had un chingo de overtime, man. It was just a lot of overtime. You would drive the max, right? But
yeah,
it just
yeah,
at the end it wasn't worth it, man, because you're just it just wasn't worth it, man. But
yeah. Just being a slave.
yeah, yeah. But okay, hey man, but that was a foot for you to get in. So how long were you there for?
Believe it or not, I was there for a year. I actually got off
Okay.
parole with that company.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then there was a major accident in that company. If you want to hear about it.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's talk some
All right.
accidents, man. I got a few of my own.
So that company is in Rosamond. Um, Up the street from Rosamond, from that company was Edwards Airfield Base.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's the military for the Air Force.
Hmm.
So they're in the front. All the way in the back is NASA. So this happened early in the morning. It was my first load. I had to go swap out a box, go leave them on empty and pick up a full one.
Hmm.
So I take off. I already know the place. I've been there, 3 or 4 times before then. So I go and I turn around, bust a U-turn so I could back up and leave the empty next to the full one. So, bam, this was my mistake. Me confié. I got comfortable because there was a construction worker that was working that building. I guess he was in charge of the laborers, the ones that filled up the trash bin and picked up all the trash. So he walked up to my door, knocked on my door. I was actually getting up, and he said, "Hey man, don't trip. I'll spot you." I'm like, "Cool." So he's telling me, "Come on, come on." So I'm backing up, and I'm going slow, you know. And he's like, "Come on, come on." I'm like, "Damn, dude, like relax." So I'm like going out of nowhere. He backs me right into a live fire hydrant.
Oh no, dog. Oh,
Dude, I panicked.
oh.
Serio.
Okay.
I panicked. All right. I don't know if you know how the roll-offs work. They're only held by two little rails. That's it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And the cable. So I'm thinking, damn, this has a lot of pressure. If I stay here, this damn water's gonna lift the truck up and throw me. I'm like, yeah, God. So I pull forward. And then I get off and I'm like, damn. I'm just seeing, dude, it was a geyser, you know, it was like that.
Oh no,
So
man.
these guys are scrambling, trying to get the key to turn it off.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I call my boss. I'm nervous. I'm scared. So I call my boss and I'm like, "Hey man, bring all the trucks over here." And he's all like, "For what?" "It's a free car wash going on right." So he shows up and he's pissed and he's all like, "What happened?" I said, "Well, look, man." So luckily I gathered all the evidence. I took pictures of everything. And what the fire hydrant was literally maybe 200 feet away from a brand new building that NASA was building. So all this water went into the first floor, jacked up all their drywall and everything.
Wow.
But what I recorded and wrote down was that the supervisor of that job site literally had to go all the way to the front gate to get the key to turn off the fire hydrant. So by the time they turned it off, they estimated about 50,000 gallons that went into that building. So I took pictures. I sent them to my wife so she could have them for backup in case of anything. So the thing was that the fire hydrant was covered up with a trash bag, with a black trash bag.
Oh yeah, I seen that. Okay.
So when I did my research, whenever there's a live fire hydrant, it has to be exposed, either red, yellow, whatnot.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, and I had the pictures. So when NASA sent out their lawyers, they were, the lawyer had the little recorder. I'm like, damn, dude, I feel like I'm being interrogated for a crime. This is an accident. So then, I told her, I said, look, man, I did my research. That fire hydrant wasn't exposed. It was covered with a black bag. The pictures are right there. And when I was getting off the truck, one of the workers said that they will spot me. So this is, I don't know if it's a law or what you want to call it, but I've heard it from many, many people and different companies. As soon as somebody like you could walk up to me and say, "Hey, I'll spot you." So if I hit something, it's not my fault. Now it's your fault because you're the one that said you'll spot me. So as soon as I heard that, I said, "Shh, clear."
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure how true that is. Hopefully that's true, right? But because I had somebody back me into a car door one time, man. I remember I was backing out a flatbed that was loaded back out onto the street. It was a company called Contractors. I think they're called HD Supply now. It was the one out in Carson by off the is it the 91 or the 105? No? I think the 105. Yeah, maybe. So I was backing out, and homeboy was back. He was holding traffic, telling me to back up, back up. So I'm backing up, and I gotta start turning it. Doing the L, and he's just watching traffic, just backing me up, just like yeah. And pow! I hit a parked car. Well, he's more worried about traffic to stop the traffic and not really, keeping through chance, dog, of where the tail of
Yeah,
the end of my trailer's at. So it's all like, oh man, you know, uh, you're the driver, man. You should know. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Well, anyway, man, called the company, told them what happened. They went ahead, they handled it. I mean, this many years ago, so I'm not really sure what happened there. But they got me out of the clear for however they did it. They probably didn't even go through insurance, but I don't know. That's a good one, man. I think I'm gonna look into that. So I will
yeah. I mean,
definitely.
yeah, I say that just due to the fact that the lawyer, as soon as I told that to the lawyer, she knew I was in the clear. As soon as I
Okay.
told her that, she closed her folder and she said, "Okay, we're done." I was like,
Oh,
"Cool."
okay. All right. That's yeah. I'm gonna look into that because that's definitely some good info to know, man. Because yeah,
Yeah,
if somebody says they're like, yeah, man, you know what, I got you, back up, and you've been told, just like every driver has, man, like, hey, get a spotter to spot you. So what's the point of having a spotter if that spotter's not doing, paying attention, and they have you take out a car or a fire hydrant or something. It's like, hey man, you're the driver. It's like, well, wait a second, man.
yeah,
We're always told to make sure we have a spotter so that stuff doesn't happen. So yeah, there should be some sort of liability for spotters, man. So but so, all right, dog. So you know what? Your parole is done with them, with that company, and all that. So where does Fonzie go from here?
So from there, I actually for that company I trained a few drivers. So I got this cool ass cat. Um, I trained them and everything, and then we got to talking, and he got to asking me, "Why don't I leave that company?" Because he saw the way I drove and everything. I was just quick, dude. I was quick. I just found the shortcuts to do the Halle faster.
Mm.
So he actually recommended a company out in Palmdale that did flatbed, hauling building materials like blocks, cement, rebar, and stuff like that. And I was honest, dude. I mean, ever since I started trucking, I don't want to say I was scared, but I was intimidated of driving the 53 footers. I just didn't know how they would back that thing up into tight little spaces.
Mm.
So I avoided it. That's why I always look for 10-wheeler jobs.
Okay.
So, nah, man, he said, you know what? I'm going to hook you up. So he sure did, man. He went to that Holly. The supervisor there called me up and said, hey, man, this guy's telling me you're a good driver, man. What's up? I could pay you, I could pay you $16 an hour. I said, all right, cool. So, yeah, man, I jumped in there not knowing, I forgot everything that they taught me in school, how to reverse into an alley dock and everything. I
Yeah.
forgot all about it. This was already 2013. It was already been
Mm.
10 years since I had to back up a truck and a trailer combination.
Right.
Oh
Right.
yeah, so he luckily that supervisor gave me a shot and moved up from there, man. After I drove their flatbeds quite a few years, maybe 2000, like 5 years, and then that same company they had transfer trucks. So
Okay.
then I moved into that,
Mm.
and I drove those two.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Transfer trade. I was looking to get into transfer once I was getting done with hauling bottom dumps. And I know exactly what you're talking about, dog, about the whole backing up and everything. Because when I first started trucking, I was pulling bottom dumps and they're doubles. And you
Yeah,
never back up. You never, man, you rarely ever put the truck in reverse. It's
yeah.
always going forward, man. You never really back up bottom dumps for any reason. So, when I had to switch and had to make the adaptation. So I mean, I was pretty intimidated. I was just like, "Hey, I haven't, yeah, I've been driving for so long, but man, I haven't backed up a trailer, especially like that, 53-footer in forever, dog. Since I've been trucking, man, because I was just doing bottom dumps. So yeah, it was pretty intimidating for me, man. So you started doing flatbeds, and how long did that go for?
That went on for 5 years.
Along
Uh,
with the transfer?
yeah, no. Well, I did flatbed first for the 5 years, and then the opening for transfers came open. So I said, man, let me jump on it. So I jumped on it, and man, I'm gonna tell you right now that I'll tell you right. I don't know if people know out there, but it's a lot easier to back up a 53-foot trailer than a transfer truck, because the transfer is on a turntable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the trailer's on a
Yeah.
turntable. So you turn the wheel, the first axle of the trailer turns.
Right.
So
Because
now
that's
you
the one
got,
that's on the turntable.
yeah. So now
Yeah.
you got your front wheels turned, and your damn trailer tires are turned the other way, and you're like, oh shit.
Mm.
So I'm backing up. Next thing you know, I look out my driver's side and I see my trailer right here. I'm like, oh damn. I gotta pull forward. I'm like, what's going on? So it was just, trial and error. Just, it's more playing with the steering wheel. So, you want to make sure you're in a straight line before you do anything. Once you're in a straight line, it's just, back and forth, and you'll get it. I got the hang of the transfers where I could go into a dead end street, back it up, back it into another street, and pull out.
Okay.
So, and I'll be straight up, man. Those transfers are fun. They were fun.
Really?
Man,
Okay.
I
I've never
love it.
done transfers.
Man, dude, it's like you're just, you're racing against the time, and you're racing against other drivers, because the faster you drop that load and you come back for another one, you'll be the lucky one to get that extra load.
That's how bottom dumps were, man. That's
Yeah.
how
Oh,
bottom
yeah. I
speed
know.
racers all the time, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 We oh man, we'd be speeding all the time, dog. 80 dog, I'll tell you, 70, 75, 80
Yeah.
miles per hour. Yeah, man. Cause you get paid by the load. So it's just like you're
Exactly.
just trying to go, looking at the mirrors, making sure there's no CHP anywhere, man. And this is before like all the big technology that there is today, man. But yeah, just looking, man, just hurry up, trying to get that extra
Yeah.
load, man, trying to get that load at the end. Or even
Exactly.
showing up super early to be the first one to
Yeah.
get out of there with the load, man, so you can make more ferian. But
Yeah.
yeah. So where did you go from there?
So from there, I left that company and I jumped into another company that did transfers also.
Okay.
So with that other company, I think I was there from 2019 to 2020, the end of 2020.
Mhm.
So they were good. They were the ones that actually were paying me the best. They were paying me 32% off whatever ever the truck made. So if the truck made 1,000, I'm keeping fucking $320.
Right.
So,
Right.
and that was on a daily basis. That was
Mhm.
Monday to Friday. And I would start at 3 in the morning. I'll be home by 2 in the afternoon already.
Mm.
But I don't know, man. We ended up in wrong terms. So
Okay.
on my last week there, I turned in my paperwork. Prior to that, oh, I'm jumping ahead. I got my mind went blank. But that company was the first company that I actually saw what a truck makes. So I'm like,
Mm.
damn. All the other companies, they're I don't want to say I work for mega carriers or major corporations, but they were mom and pops, but they still kept things in the loop.
Uh-huh.
So this company, I would actually look like, damn, this
Yeah.
truck just made 1,500 this week or this
Uh-huh.
day. So I'm taking this. Why can't I take that? You
Mm.
know, so just little by little, I started seeing what the truck was making. I mean, I also got to see how it broke down, the prices of the maintenance and everything. But it still was a thought in my head. I'm like, oh man, there's I don't want to say I thought of getting rich, but it was a form of living comfortable. So yeah, man, my last week with them, um, I turned in my paperwork and the lady didn't pay me. So I went to the office. She started screaming, yelling in my face and everything. And I had my wife on the Bluetooth. My
Mhm.
wife heard everything. So, she heard her yelling at me, telling me, "Oh, hit me. I ain't afraid of you." I'm like, dude, I just want you to, respond for my papers, like just give me my money, I'm
Yeah.
leaving. And now, man, I mean, she just didn't pay me. So then I left. My wife, she said, "Now, you know what? Get a lawyer." So yeah, man, we got a lawyer. And again, I gotta say big ups to my wife. I always was interested in starting my business, but I was always scared.
Mm-hmm.
And when that date happened and I got home and my wife got home, she said, "Nope, look, man, we already got money saved up.
Mm-hmm.
Get that feria, go look for a truck. That's it. You're done working for other people. Like, start your own thing." And by this time, I was already kind of doing my research and everything, but I just didn't know what I wanted to get into.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just again, dude, wifey was the one that gave me that push, and thanks to her, I'm where I'm at right now. Well, I should say we are where we at right now.
So how long have you had your own authority?
Um, I got it in December 2020.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So the year like of the shutdowns pretty much, man.
yeah, dude, and you know what? I know what people are gonna say that I jumped in it because there was the money. Look, I didn't even know COVID was going on. I'm not really into watching news or stuff like that. I know I just got basically manhandled by a woman. So then I'm like, you know what? I got to do something. So I really didn't know what to do.
Mm.
So I just went out, started looking for trucks, started researching, and, you know, it worked out.
And how's that been going for you, big dog? From for you from the start of that to where it's at now, where people are talking about like, oh man, you know what, the loads just aren't paying.
It's been hard, eh? I'll be straight up. It's hard. It's a lot of negotiation, and a lot of patience, basically.
Mm.
You know, a lot of drivers, may God bless them, but a lot of drivers went out of business just due to the fact that they don't do their numbers. Like, before I book a load, I do everything. I don't care if I know it on the top of my head. I'll say, okay, I'm driving this many miles. It weighs this much. Am I going to be in traffic? Am I going to be going up hills? I got to charge this in order for me to keep this, and have the
Mm.
fuel paid. So it's just a lot of looking, a lot of calling, a lot of just, them, brokers telling you like, "Oh, that's all we got in it." I'm like, "Come on, dude, that's not all you got in it." But all right, you
Mm.
know what? I'm not gonna take it. So yeah, man. In the beginning, just like everybody else, man, it was lovely. It was lovely. Drivers were making money. Thank God my wife, knows how to. She's not a spender. She knows how to, manage money very well. We put a lot of that money away, for hard times. So
Okay.
so it's good.
Okay. All right, man. And comparing you right now, dog, to being company driver, man. I mean, there's always the goods, there's always the bads, man. But what would you prefer doing?
I prefer this.
Okay.
A lot of times I prefer this. I'm like, you know what? A lot of people. I mean, I've been in the game, not as an owner operator, but I've been a lot of drivers. So for me, for the stress, the headaches and everything is worth it just for my freedom. That's basically
Yeah.
what trucking is.
Hmm.
You get into it and you got your freedom.
Yeah.
But a lot of people get him. They make the mistake thinking that they're the boss. Nah, we're still company drivers, but now it's your company that you're driving for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man. When I first started trucking, I was an owner operator. Then I've been company driving for so many years. I'm getting to my own authority now. And I mean, look, there is perks of being a company driver if you don't want to go through all that. If the truck breaks down, you just make a phone call. And, all that stuff is all taken care of for you. But at the same time, it's like you are, under the company, and it's like, yeah, you know what? You go where we tell you to go. You don't have a choice or a say. So you start when we tell you to start. And if you come back early and we have another run, we have another load that, and you still got time that we want you to take out, you don't say no. You're company driver. You're gonna take that load. So yeah, man. You know what? I gotta tell you, Fonzie, man. This was quite the heck of a story, big dog. That fire hydrant one was good, man. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna
man.
definitely look into that, dog, because there should be some sort of liability if somebody's gonna go ahead and spot you. You know, there definitely has to be. But
Yeah.
man, Fonzie, big dog, you shared a lot today, man. Any last words, Garna, that you want to put out there? Um, to just homies out there, and or just anybody, man, that's just looking, that's struggling. Either they got out the joint, or they're living that street life, or they just don't really know what to do with their lives or anything like that, man. Because it looks like you're hitting rock bottom, homie, and look at you right now, dog. You're in your own rig right now as we speak, man. Any last words, any last shout outs, anything, Holmes? The floor is yours, Holmes.
Well, first of all, want to shout out you, Cholo Trucker, giving me the opportunity to jump on, share a little bit about myself. Second of all, my wife, my three daughters, Daisy, Jasmine, Lily, and my son, Steven, you know, and to everybody out there, man, you know what? Just, you know, there's always a brighter side to everything. Stop thinking that the glass is half empty, it's half full. It's up to you guys to fill it up. Doesn't matter. You could have a strike. You could be fresh out the joint. Don't go to these mega carriers. It's gonna be hard, but go to these mom and pops, like a lot of bottom dumps, super tent trucks, flatbeds, all these mom and pops. You know, they need a driver that's hungry, and when they see somebody fresh out the joint, you're hungry. They know they're hungry. They're gonna give you that chance, man, and just take that opportunity and don't spend your money. Save it up, get your own thing. If even if it's not trucking, even if you want to buy a lunch truck, man, there's opportunities, man, for everybody. Oh, but I do gotta say, I'm against automatics. I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anybody, but my opinion, if you really want to know and learn to control a big rig, it has to be a manual.
I
You
agree.
you just you get the feel of it. You know what the engine wants and everything. Automatic is fine, comfortable, but it's not like you're not doing anything. You're just pressing the gas. You don't know what the engine's doing. You don't know what to do when you're going up a hill or anything. But a manual, you learn how to drive a manual, then jump into automatic. You'll see
Yes.
the difference.
Yes. I 1,000% agree, homie. I 1,000% agree. There are people coming out of schools that don't know how to drive manuals, the only automatics, and it's changing the game
It is.
completely, man.
I don't want to interrupt, but sorry for interrupting, but
Don't go for it.
I believe that once automatic trucks came out, the industry just started getting a bad rep because they're
Yes.
fast. They're fast.
Mhm.
You know, an automatic truck, you just step on it and you go. And
Mhm.
a lot of accidents happen like that.
Mm.
You can't go that fast in a manual. Of course, once you're in the highway, you're smashing. But in the beginning, it's slow rolling like a snail. So you catch up, you get to see things. That's just
Mhm.
my opinion. And I'll tell you one more thing. My wife, she got her CDL also in a manual.
There you go, man. I tell you, man, there's nothing
Yeah,
like shifting gears. You become one with the truck, man. You
yeah,
really do.
yeah,
The automatic, it's just like you're driving a big car, and
yeah.
the culture in trucking is changing. I don't like it, but it's changing, man. But
That
hey,
is.
Fonzie, I want to say gracias, big dog, for taking the time, homie, to come on here and share your story. I know somebody can be watching this and be like, hey, dog, you know what? I got to get it together and start doing my own thing, man. So gracias to you, homie, for
Man, thanks to
coming
you,
on here.
man. Thanks to all your viewers. And let's just keep them wheels rolling.
That's right, rubber side down, man.
That's right.
As always, familia, live your life like you're on the road. Be aware of your surroundings and always keep a safe distance. Blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family. Till next time, this is Ed the Thecholotrucker from my boy Fonzie, OG Trucker. Over and out.